Hello and welcome to Listen Lore with Meg. For today I'm going to be doing my January 2025 wrap up. That is so crazy to say 2025. Anywho, these are all the books that I read in January, minus one, which is kind of rolling into February. So stay tuned for that one. I ended up finishing it quicker than I thought. So anywho, let's dive in to these books because January was a wild month for my reading. I ended up reading 5 books, 2 of which were sci-fi, 1 was fantasy, 1 was nonfiction, like science nonfiction, and then 1 was a literary romance. I had an average rating of 3.5 for the month, and I read 1,424 pages, with the average page length being 285. So, without further ado, let's get into the books that I've read this month. First book that I finished of the month was Annie Bot by Sierra Greer. This is a sci-fi literary book about a robot who is now a sentient AI being, and about her evolution of what she becomes after be turned on to be sentient, and what she goes through to basically be the perfect person for her person in this relationship, and how that evolves and how she deals with the different aspects that come up within this novel. I thought this was really, really cool. I think that it's pretty on the nose as far as the themes and the general plot line and character development of this. It's very predictable because it is exactly what you think is going to happens. But I'm not mad about it. As a debut novel, I thought it was really, really cool. But it really delves into sentient AI and what that future could mean. It also deals with women and in their own body anomaly. I cannot say that word. Anyways, women's rights and that kind of thing, and what makes a person, which I thought was really, really cool. So I did give this 4 stars. I do think that it could have been better if it was a little less on the nose and less predictable, but I'm not mad at it. And for it being a novella, I was okay with kind of knowing where we're going and just going for the ride. So I did end up enjoying this. Next, we have Exit Story by Martha Wells. This is a sci-fi novella. It is the 4th in the series of the Murderbot Diaries. Murderbot is, and again, a robot with some AI sentient technology, in which that he has hacked his governor module and can now kind of control himself and not be controlled by the company that he is constructed to work for. And this kind of follows the shenanigans that follows, and the people that he has decided to kind of save, and this mystery that he is following. It is very hard to talk about a 4th book in the novel. I gave this 4.25 stars. It's not my favorite in the series, but it's not bad. I still absolutely love this series and can't wait to see where it goes. The next book in the series for me is Network Effect, and it is the first full-length novel in the series, so I'm super excited to see where that goes. Because I feel like these first 4 are definitely setting up something that is going to happen. So I am looking forward to getting to that at some point. But this was really, really good and a really fun, quick read. Next, I read Alone with You in the Ether by Olivia Blake. This is a literary romance novel about 2 people that have some mental health issues, and them kind of learning how to live with those and how they affect each other in their relationship. I did not get as attached to this as I would have hoped. This was just something that I felt like I kept on tuning out of of and wasn't as interested to pick it up. I thought the front bit was really, really cool because it was like a really interesting format of where you had like these different scenarios telling you about the book. So like you had like almost like it was a play, and you had like narrator cues and scene settings and that kind of thing. And I thought that was so cool. And then it just turned into like a standard novel, which was less cool in my opinion. I ended up giving this 2.75 stars. One of the things I've kind of done is I've switched over to using Fable as my book tracker because I really like the social aspect that Fable has. One, because I can share my books and like interact with people in a little bit of an easier format than I have found on other platforms, especially since I don't particularly want to use Instagram or any other social media, to be honest. I find them very daunting and like scary to get into. So I'm kind of using Fable as my own like book Instagram. And so finding that you do a visual rating where you like drag the number of stars up, and I'm finding that I'm wanting to rate things lower on there just because I'm visually seeing the halfway point. And I guess in my head I know that 2.5 is half of 5 stars, and therefore that should be like halfway to a great book. But I've always marked those as like 3s or 3.5s, and I'm starting to realize that maybe I'm rating things too highly to compare to what I actually think about them. And having that visual indicator was kind of game changing for how I've been rating books. So this one did end up getting a 2.75, just because that's where it felt right when it was on that visual slider. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go with it. So I don't think this is a bad book. I just don't think I connected with it or connected with the characters the way that I wanted to. So that being said, I am slightly disappointed in this because I thought I was going to really like it. After that, I picked up The Possibility of Life by Jamie Green. This is a science nonfiction about the idea of there being some other life out in the world, whether that is alien intelligence or just different microbiomes and that kind of thing within the solar system. I found this really interesting, but I also found it not as like exciting as I found other books. And I don't know if it's because I'm starting to read too much of the same genre within science nonfiction that I'm starting to like find a lot of overlap within the content. And maybe I'm just getting slightly bored with it, which makes me really sad because it's like my favorite thing to go to. But I haven't found one that I'm like super, super into recently. And so I think I need to take a little bit of a break and kind of delve into other nonfiction genres and see how I feel. I've been really loving the kind of natural history type of section right now, so I definitely want to dive more into that. But I'm also feeling like I need to get into more of just history nonfiction in general. So that is something I'm thinking about dipping my toes into. Or do more like memoirs about certain people within science and that kind of thing. So I do think I'm going to do that, but I might give a pause on these more of the same science topics as far as space and life in space and that kind of thing. So I did give this 3 stars, but it just, nothing was bad about it. It just, I don't know, something was not connecting with me for it. And finally, the last book of the month, and it is my favorite book of the month, and that is The Lies of Locke, Lamora by Scott Lynch. I have finally read this book, and I have been gushing about it ever since. There is something about this that is just my cup of tea, like, to a T. It's fantastic. fantastic. This is about Locke Lamora, and he is a gentleman bastard. He's kind of the leader of this group, and they are thieves and con artists and everything within the city. The city is based on like a medieval fantasy Venice, which I thought was so cool. I hadn't really read a city that felt like this before, and I was telling my friends, and I said it in my review, which I'll link up above. The city felt as much like a part of the story as the characters, and it's very rare that you find something that is that connected in and has that much depth to just the setting. And then the characters have so much depth, and then the writing has so much depth. It's just everything about this was so good, and I loved it. I did end up I started doing a vlog of this, and then the vlog kind of went to the wayside, and I ended up doing a full book review. So that is what I've linked below for you to go check out if you want to more in-depth thoughts of what this book is. But it's probably my favorite book I've read in a long time. And I cannot wait, because this is my book club book for February, and I cannot wait to talk about it with everyone. There's been a couple people texting me like, oh my gosh, this part, and I'm like, I know, just wait, because it's so much. I think this is one of the first books that I've read that I had no idea what was going on or what to predict. Like, every time that I thought I understood what was going on, it would turn like on its head, and it would be completely a different direction, and I loved that. So this is definitely great, and I cannot wait to read more of this series and hope that the other books continue to have how good this book was. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that. So that is all the books that I read. I did want to give like a slight crochet update. I did end up adding 2 squares this month to my book square review cardigan. So that's exciting. I do have both of those videos available. And then I did finish 1 month of my temperature blanket, and I'm starting on the next one. So this is where I'm at on it. So I think I'm like halfway through the month. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So yes, I have crocheted 15 days. I'm working on the 16th. So, I'm making some progress, and then I also bought a whole bunch of yarn. You can see that I have to go through and wind that up once I can. Joann's had a sale, and so I got a bunch of big twist yarns. That way I could go through and have a bunch of colors that I hadn't had before. So that way I have a kind of a stockpile of yarn for my book reviews. So hopefully I can have more colors to kind of weave in with those. So, I think that is it. That is my wrap up for this month. If you've read any of these and you want to talk to me about them, please do, because they were a lot of fun. I had a lot of great books this month, and I was really excited about that. So that is it for this video. Like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Happy reading, stay cozy, stay crafty. Bye!